Have you ever promised yourself that today would finally be different? That today would be the day you stop procrastinating and start making progress. You wake up feeling motivated, confident, and ready to take action. You already know exactly what you need to do. Maybe it's a project you've been avoiding for weeks. Maybe it's a workout you've been planning to start for months. Maybe it's a goal that keeps getting pushed to tomorrow. You sit down, ready to begin, and everything seems under control. Then a small thought quietly enters your mind. I'll just check my phone for a minute before I start. It sounds harmless, and honestly, it probably is. But 1 minute quickly turns into 5 before you notice. 5 minutes become 20, and 20 become an entire hour. Suddenly, the time you planned to use is gone. The task is still there, waiting exactly where you left it. And somehow, it now feels even harder to start. So you decide to wait until you feel more motivated. The problem is that motivation rarely arrives when we're waiting. Hours pass, the pressure grows, and the task feels bigger. By the end of the day, frustration has replaced confidence. You start wondering why something so important feels so difficult. At this point, most people blame themselves for the problem. They tell themselves they're lazy or simply lack discipline. But what if laziness isn't actually the real issue? What if procrastination is something much deeper than that? Think about the last task you avoided doing. Chances are, it wasn't something easy or enjoyable. Maybe it felt overwhelming and bigger than you expected. Maybe you weren't sure how or where to begin. Maybe you were afraid of making mistakes along the way. Maybe you worried your work wouldn't be good enough. In some way, the task created a feeling of discomfort, and your brain is naturally designed to avoid discomfort. The moment discomfort appears, your brain starts looking for relief. Suddenly, checking social media sounds much more appealing. Watching another video feels easier than facing the task. Even organizing your desk starts to seem productive. Your brain isn't trying to ruin your future plans. It's simply trying to make you feel better right now. And that's exactly where procrastination begins. At first, avoiding the task feels like a relief. The discomfort disappears, and for a moment, everything feels fine. But that feeling never lasts as long as we expect. Soon, the guilt starts creeping into your mind. The deadline gets closer, and the pressure becomes heavier. Now you're carrying both the task and the stress. The longer you wait, the bigger the challenge appears. And the bigger it appears, the harder it feels to start. Millions of people get trapped in this cycle every day. Fortunately, there is a simple way to break it. It's called the 5-minute rule. And despite its simplicity, it can be incredibly powerful. The next time you're avoiding a task, try something different. Don't tell yourself you're going to finish the whole thing. Don't promise yourself an hour of focused work. And don't think about the entire project at once. Instead, make a much smaller commitment. Tell yourself you'll work on it for only 5 minutes. Not 30 minutes. Not an hour. Just 5 minutes. At first, 5 minutes may sound far too small to matter. But the goal isn't to finish. The goal is simply to begin. Because starting is usually the hardest part of any task. Most people don't fear the work itself. They fear the size of the commitment in front of them. 5 minutes feels small, safe, and completely manageable. And that's why your brain is less likely to resist it. Once you begin, something interesting starts to happen. The resistance that felt so strong begins to fade away. Your attention shifts from avoiding the task to doing it. You stop thinking about starting and start making progress. Before you realize it, the 5 minutes are over. But now you have momentum working in your favor. Most people don't stop once they've reached that point. Because continuing feels easier than starting all over again. That's the secret. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. The next time you catch yourself procrastinating, remember this. You don't need to finish everything today. You only need to give yourself 5 minutes. Because sometimes the smallest step is the one that changes everything.